The Drakin Empire had long observed the stars, searching for signs of life that rivaled their own. For centuries, they had been the undisputed rulers of their corner of the galaxy, their reptilian forms adapted perfectly to their harsh homeworld. When their deep space probes picked up signals from a small blue-green planet in the Milky Way, curiosity turned to fascination. Commander Zarek stood on the observation deck of the *Vor Kesh*, the Draken scout ship, tasked with the initial reconnaissance of Earth. Below, the planet spun serenely, unaware of the imminent encounter. "Initiate scan," Zarek ordered, his voice a low, resonant hiss. The ship's sensors swept the surface, analyzing everything from atmospheric composition to technological development. What they found was both astonishing and alarming. Humans, though technologically inferior, displayed a remarkable adaptability and a fierce independence. They had built sprawling cities, mastered flight, and even ventured into space. "Commander, we have identified several suitable subjects for retrieval," Dr. Vrath, the chief scientist, reported. "Their physiology is intriguing. They appear fragile, yet their resilience is unparalleled." "Proceed with the capture," Zarek ordered. "Let us see what makes these humans so special." A small team of Draken soldiers descended to a remote area of Earth under the cover of night. Their advanced cloaking technology rendered them invisible to the human eye. The mission was swift and silent. Within minutes, they had captured 3 individuals and transported them back to the *Vor Kesh*. Among the captives was Lieutenant Sarah Connor, a decorated officer in the United States Air Force. As the tranquilizer wore off, she awoke in a sterile alien environment, her mind racing with questions and fear. But fear quickly turned to resolve. She would not be a passive prisoner. "Welcome, human," Dr. Vrath greeted her, his cold, calculating eyes studying her intently. "You are about to become part of an important experiment." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "I don't know what you are, but you won't keep me here." "We shall see," Vrath replied with a thin smile. The alien laboratory was a marvel of technology, filled with devices beyond human comprehension. Sarah and the other captives were subjected to a battery of tests, their physical and mental limits pushed to the breaking point. Dr. Vrath observed every reaction with clinical detachment, recording data on their resilience, pain tolerance, and adaptability. "These humans are fascinating," Vrath mused aloud as he reviewed the results. "Their bodies are weak compared to ours, yet their minds, their willpower is extraordinary." Sarah, however, was not content to be a mere subject. Using her military training, she began to devise a plan to escape. She carefully observed the patterns of the guards, the layout of the facility, and the technology used to confine them. One night, she managed to communicate with the other captives, a scientist named Dr. Michael Reyes, and a young engineer, Lily Chen. "We need to work together," Sarah whispered urgently. "I have a plan, but it will take all of us to pull it off." Dr. Reyes nodded, his face pale but determined. "What do you need us to do?" "First, we need to disable the security systems," Sarah explained. "Lily, you're an engineer. Can you figure out how to hack into their systems?" Lily nodded, her eyes shining with a mixture of fear and determination. "I think so. I've seen some of their tech. It's advanced, but I can do it." For the next several days, the trio worked covertly, gathering information and tools. Sarah used her physical prowess to distract and mislead the guards, while Lily hacked into the security systems. Dr. Reyes provided crucial scientific knowledge, helping them understand the alien technology. Finally, the night of the escape arrived. Sarah took out the 2 guards with swift, precise movements, while Lily deactivated the security grid. They moved quickly and quietly through the corridors, avoiding detection. They reached the hangar bay, where a small Draken shuttle was docked. "This is it," Sarah whispered. "Get in and start the engines. I'll hold them off." As Lily and Dr. Reyes boarded the shuttle, alarms blared throughout the facility. Draken soldiers rushed toward them, weapons drawn. Sarah fought with fierce determination, her combat skills honed to perfection. She knew she couldn't hold them off forever, but she was buying precious time. The shuttle's engines roared to life. "Sarah, we're ready," Lily shouted from the cockpit. Sarah made a break for the shuttle, narrowly avoiding a barrage of laser fire. She leaped aboard, and the hatch sealed behind her. "Go, go, go!" she yelled. The shuttle shot out of the hangar, weaving through enemy fire. They had done it. They were free. But their journey was far from over. As the stolen shuttle hurtled through space, Sarah took the co-pilot's seat, her hands deftly moving over the unfamiliar controls. "Lily, get us to the dark side of the moon. We need to lose them." Lily's fingers flew across the console, and the shuttle veered sharply, heading for the relative safety of the moon's shadow. The Drakin ships pursued, but the humans' desperate maneuvers kept them just out of reach. In the back, Dr. Reyes worked frantically to boost their communications array. "I've almost got it," he muttered. "Just a few more tweaks, and we can send a message to Earth." A sudden jolt rocked the shuttle as a laser blast grazed their hull. "Hurry up, Doc," Sarah called out, her eyes fixed on the scanners. "They're done," Reyes exclaimed, hitting the transmit button. "This is Dr. Michael Reyes. We are humans captured by an alien force and now escaping. We need immediate assistance. Coordinates attached." The message sent, Sarah focused on evading their pursuers. The shuttle dipped and dodged, utilizing every bit of its agility. The Drakin ships were relentless, but the humans' unpredictable tactics gave them an edge. Finally, they slipped into the moon's shadow, the Drakin ships losing their lock on the shuttle. "We bought ourselves some time," Sarah said, exhaling in relief. "But they'll be back." Lily set the shuttle down on the lunar surface, hidden from view. "We need to figure out our next move," she said. "That distress signal might have been picked up by Earth, but we can't count on it." Dr. Reyes nodded. "We need a plan. We can't stay here forever." Sarah paced the small cabin. "First, we need to assess the shuttle's condition and see if there's anything we can use to improve our chances. Second, we need to prepare for the possibility that we'll have to fight our way out again." As they worked on the shuttle, Sarah's mind raced with thoughts of what might come next. Earth needed to know about the Drakin threat, and they needed to prepare for a possible invasion. Their escape was just the beginning. Hours later, their scanners picked up a faint signal. "It's a human ship," Lily cried. "They got our message." A small Earth ship appeared on the horizon, moving cautiously. "This is the Endurance *. We received your distress call. Are you in need of assistance?" "Endurance, this is Lieutenant Sarah Connor. We've escaped from an alien vessel and need immediate extraction. Prepare for a hot pickup. We have hostiles in the area." The Endurance * approached, its weapon systems on high alert. As the shuttle docked, the crew quickly ushered Sarah, Lily, and Dr. Reyes aboard. "Welcome back," the captain said. "We've got orders to get you to Earth immediately. There's a lot you need to tell us." As the Endurance * made its way back to Earth, Sarah knew the real battle was just beginning. The Drakin would not stop until they had conquered or been defeated. Humanity had to be ready. The distress signal from the Endurance * reached Earth, sending shockwaves through the corridors of power. In a matter of hours, world leaders convened a crisis summit at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The abduction and subsequent escape of Lieutenant Sarah Connor and her companions were no longer isolated incidents, but a clear indication of an impending threat from an advanced alien civilization. Admiral Marcus Drake, a seasoned naval officer with extensive experience in space operations, was appointed to lead the newly formed United Earth Defense Coalition. As he stood before the assembled delegates, his stern expression reflected the gravity of the situation. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing an existential threat unlike any we have encountered before," Admiral Drake began. "The Drakin Empire is technologically superior, highly organized, and determined to subjugate our planet. We must unite and mobilize our resources to defend Earth." The assembly erupted into a mix of concern and determination. Nations that had long been rivals now found themselves on the same side, driven by a common purpose. Military leaders, scientists, and diplomats worked around the clock, devising strategies and pooling their knowledge to develop new technologies and defensive measures. Dr. Emily Jiang, a leading expert in advanced energy systems, took center stage in the scientific efforts. "We need to understand their technology and develop countermeasures," she explained. Our best chance lies in creating weapons and defenses that can penetrate their shields and disable their ships. As the days passed, Earth's defense forces began to take shape. Advanced fighter jets were retrofitted for space combat, and new spacecraft designs were rushed into production. Satellite networks were repurposed for early warning systems, and ground-based defenses were reinforced. Meanwhile, Sarah Connor was debriefed extensively by military intelligence. Her first-hand knowledge of Drakin tactics and technology proved invaluable. They rely heavily on their shields and cloaking technology, she explained. If we can find a way to disrupt those, we'll have a fighting chance. Admiral Drake listened intently, formulating a plan. We need to strike back before they launch a full-scale invasion. A preemptive strike on their fleet might buy us the time we need to fortify our defenses. As Earth's forces prepared for the inevitable conflict, the world held its breath. The unity and resolve of humanity were tested, but the spirit of cooperation and determination shone brightly. The call to arms had been answered, and the stage was set for the first clash with the Drakin Empire. The Drakin fleet appeared in Earth's orbit with a suddenness that took even the most prepared by surprise. Massive warships, bristling with weapons, descended upon the planet, casting ominous shadows over cities and landscapes. Panic spread quickly, but the newly united human forces were ready to respond. Admiral Drake stood on the bridge of the flagship Dauntless Asterisk, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the approaching alien vessels. All units prepare for engagement, he commanded. This is our moment. We fight for our home. The Earth's space fleet, composed of retrofitted fighter jets, newly built spacecraft, and orbital defense platforms, moved into position. Squadrons of fighters launched from carriers, weaving through the void as they approached the Drakin armada. The battle began with a thunderous exchange of fire. Drakin energy beams sliced through space, while human missiles and railguns responded in kind. The sky above Earth became a chaotic dance of light and destruction, as both sides fought fiercely. Admiral Drake directed the battle with calm precision. "Focus fire on their lead ship," he ordered. "We need to create an opening." On the front lines, Captain Maria Alvarez led her squadron of fighters in daring maneuvers, dodging enemy fire and striking back with deadly accuracy. "Stay tight, stay focused," she urged her pilots. "We're not going down without a fight." The battle raged on, with heavy casualties on both sides. Human ships were outmatched in terms of technology, but their sheer determination and innovative tactics kept them in the fight. Admiral Drake's strategy to target the Drakin flagship began to pay off as its shields weakened under the relentless assault. Inside the Dauntless Asterisk, Dr. Emily Zhang worked feverishly on a new energy weapon designed to penetrate Drakin shields. "We're almost ready," she told Admiral Drake. "Just a few more minutes." As the flagship's shields finally buckled, the Dauntless Asterisk unleashed its new weapon. A concentrated beam of energy lanced out, striking the Drakin ship with devastating effect. The alien vessel shuddered, explosions rippling across its surface. "Direct hit," Captain Alvarez shouted over the comms. "Their flagship is going down." The destruction of the Drakin flagship sent a ripple of shock through their fleet. Human forces pressed the advantage, targeting the now disoriented and leaderless Drakin ships. One by one, the invaders began to fall back, retreating into the depths of space. As the battle wound down, cheers erupted across Earth's defense network. The first major clash had ended in a hard-fought victory. Admiral Drake allowed himself a moment of relief, but knew this was only the beginning. "We've won the battle," he said to his crew, "but the war is far from over." In the aftermath of the battle, Earth was left scarred but resolute. The Drakin had been driven back, but the threat of their return loomed large. Amid the debris and the rebuilding efforts, a new phase of the conflict began to take shape, one that would be fought not just in space, but on the ground, in the cities, and in the hearts of ordinary people. In the ruins of what was once a bustling metropolis, small groups of civilians began to organize themselves into resistance cells. Sarah Connor, now a symbol of defiance and hope, took charge of one such group. Drawing on her military background, she trained her fellow resistance fighters in guerrilla tactics, hit-and-run strategies, and survival skills. "We can't wait for the Draken to come to us," Sarah told her group. "We need to take the fight to them. Every Draken ship we sabotage, every supply line we disrupt, brings us closer to victory." Her group, composed of a diverse mix of civilians, former soldiers, and even a few rogue scientists, quickly became one of the most effective resistance cells. They operated in the shadows, striking at key targets and then vanishing before the Draken could mount a proper response. One evening, as the sun set over the war-torn landscape, Sarah gathered her team for a critical mission. "We've got intel on a Draken supply depot not far from here," she explained. "If we hit it hard and fast, we can cripple their operations in this sector." The resistance fighters moved under the cover of darkness, navigating through the rubble and avoiding Draken patrols. They reached the depot, a heavily fortified facility guarded by Draken soldiers and automated defenses. Sarah signaled to her team. "Lily, you're up. Disable their security systems." Lily Chen, the young engineer who had helped Sarah escape from the Draken lab, nodded and set to work. Her fingers danced over her portable device, hacking into the alien systems with practiced ease. "Security down," she whispered. The resistance fighters moved in, planting explosives and sabotaging key equipment. The operation was swift and precise. As they retreated, the depot erupted in flames, a massive explosion lighting up the night sky. "That's one less problem for our people," Sarah said, a fierce pride in her voice. Word of the Resistance's success spread quickly, inspiring others to rise up and fight. Across the globe, similar groups formed, each contributing to the larger effort. The Draken found themselves facing a foe that was not just resilient, but also relentless and resourceful. Back at their makeshift base, Sarah received a transmission from Admiral Drake. "You've done excellent work, Lieutenant. The Resistance is making a real difference." "Thank you, Admiral," Sarah replied. "We're not stopping until every last Draken is off our planet." "Good to hear. We have a new mission for you and your team. Intel suggests a high-ranking Draken officer is in your area. Capturing him could give us valuable information." Sarah nodded, already formulating a plan. "We'll get it done, sir." As the Resistance prepared for their next mission, the spirit of humanity burned brighter than ever. The Draken might have superior technology, but the indomitable will of the human race was proving to be their greatest weapon. The success of the Resistance had given humanity a glimmer of hope, but the war against the Draken was far from over. The high-ranking Draken officer, identified as Commander Iral, was the key to gaining crucial intelligence. Capturing him would be a significant victory for the human forces. Sarah Connor and her team set out to locate Iral, relying on the network of informants and resistance cells that had sprung up across the occupied territories. It took weeks of careful planning and covert operations, but they finally pinpointed his location, a heavily fortified bunker deep within a Draken-controlled zone. "We have one shot at this," Sarah told her team. "Iral is well protected, but we can't let that stop us. We get in, capture him, and get out before they even know what hit them." The Resistance fighters moved under the cover of darkness, making their way through the ruined city streets. They avoided patrols and surveillance drones, their movements precise and coordinated. As they approached the bunker, Sarah gave the signal to prepare for the assault. "Lily, disable their external defenses," she ordered. Lily hacked into the Draken systems, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "External defenses are down. We have a window, but it won't last long." "Move in," Sarah commanded. The team breached the bunker, encountering fierce resistance from Draken soldiers. The corridors echoed with the sounds of gunfire and energy blasts. Sarah led the charge, her combat skills honed to perfection. Her team followed her lead, their determination unwavering. They reached Iral's chamber where the commander stood, surrounded by his elite guard. "Surrender, Iral," Sarah demanded. "You're outnumbered and outmatched." Iral sneered, his reptilian eyes glinting with malice. "Humans, always so defiant? Very well, let us see if your resolve is as strong as your arrogance." A brutal fight ensued, but Sarah and her team fought with the desperation of those who had everything to lose. One by one, Iral's guards fell, and finally, Iral himself was subdued. "Secure him," Sarah ordered, breathing heavily. We need to get out of here before reinforcements arrive." As they made their way back to the extraction point, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that this was a turning point. With Iral in their custody, they could gain valuable insights into Draken strategies and technology. Back at the resistance base, Iral was interrogated. Despite his initial resistance, the commander eventually revealed key information. The Draken were planning a massive offensive, one that could overwhelm Earth's defenses if not countered. Armed with this knowledge, Admiral Drake and Dr. Emily Jung worked tirelessly to develop a counter-strategy. The turning point had come. Humanity was ready to take the fight to the Draken on their terms. Within the Draken ranks, not all were pleased with the ongoing war. Commander Zal, a highly respected officer, had long harbored doubts about the morality of their invasion. The capture of Commander Iral and the human resistance's relentless defiance only deepened his reservations. Zal, stationed on the Draken command ship, Krathor*, began to secretly reach out to those within the Draken hierarchy who shared his concerns. He knew that openly opposing the war could lead to his execution, but he couldn't stand by and watch his people engage in what he saw as an unjust conquest. Late one night, Zal made a bold decision. He used a secure communication channel to contact Admiral Drake. The message was simple but clear. "I am Commander Zal of the Drakin Empire. I wish to discuss terms for a potential alliance." The message was received with skepticism, but Drake, understanding the potential value of such an ally, decided to respond. A clandestine meeting was arranged in neutral space. The meeting took place on an abandoned space station, far from prying eyes. Admiral Drake, accompanied by a small security detail, arrived first. Moments later, Commander Zal and a few trusted Draken officers appeared. "Why should we trust you?" Drake asked, his eyes narrowing as he regarded the Draken officer. "Because I believe this war is a mistake," Zal replied, his voice calm but resolute. "Our leaders have underestimated humanity's resilience. We are not conquerors, we are explorers. This war is a perversion of our ideals." Drake studied Zal carefully, sensing the sincerity in his words. "What do you propose?" "An alliance," Zal said simply. "I can provide you with intelligence, help sabotage Draken operations from within. In return, I ask for asylum for myself and those who stand with me." Drake considered the offer. It was a risky move, but the potential benefits were too significant to ignore. "Agreed. But know this, if you betray us, there will be no place in the galaxy where you can hide." Zal nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I have no intention of betraying you, Admiral. I want to end this war as much as you do." The unlikely alliance was born. Zal and his followers began feeding critical information to the human forces, allowing them to anticipate Draken moves and counter them effectively. Sabotage operations within the Draken ranks caused confusion and disarray, weakening their war effort. As the alliance took root, hope began to spread among Earth's defenders. The tide of war was slowly turning, and humanity's chances of survival were growing stronger by the day. Not all was as it seemed within the human ranks. Unbeknownst to Admiral Drake and Sarah Connor, a traitor had been operating within their midst. The mole had been feeding information to the Draken, undermining the Resistance's efforts and putting countless lives at risk. The traitor, known only by the codename Shadow, had infiltrated the highest levels of the United Earth Defense Coalition. Shadow's actions had led to several devastating ambushes, shaking the confidence of the human forces. One evening, as Sarah was reviewing mission plans in the war room, a coded message came through her secure channel. It was from an anonymous source claiming to have information about the traitor. The message instructed her to meet at a remote location outside the city. Suspicious, but unable to ignore the potential lead, Sarah decided to investigate. She informed only a trusted few of her team, ensuring the utmost secrecy. Under the cover of darkness, she made her way to the designated meeting point. As she approached, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Captain Maria Alvarez, one of the most respected members of the Resistance. "Maria, what are you doing here?" Sarah asked, confused. "Sarah, I have something to tell you," Maria said, her voice trembling. "I've been working undercover to find the traitor. Shadow is closer than we thought. Before Sarah could respond, a squad of Draken soldiers appeared, surrounding them. Maria, what have you done? Sarah demanded, her heart sinking. Maria's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, Sarah. They threatened my family. I had no choice. The Draken commander stepped forward, a cruel smile on his lips. Thank you, Captain Alvarez. You've served us well. Sarah's mind raced as she realized the gravity of the betrayal. You won't get away with this, she spat, defiance burning in her eyes. The Draken soldiers moved to apprehend Sarah, but she fought back with all her strength. The sound of battle echoed through the night as Sarah and Maria struggled against their captors. In the chaos, Sarah managed to send a distress signal back to the resistance base. As reinforcements arrived, a fierce firefight ensued. The resistance fighters fought valiantly, managing to drive back the Draken soldiers and rescue Sarah. Maria was taken into custody, her betrayal a heavy blow to the team. Back at the base, Admiral Drake confronted Maria. Why, Maria? Why did you betray us? Tears streamed down Maria's face. I didn't want to. They threatened to kill my family. I thought I could protect them. Drake's expression softened, but his resolve remained firm. We'll do everything we can to rescue your family, but you must face the consequences of your actions. With the traitor exposed, the human forces tightened their security, determined to prevent any further breaches. The betrayal had been a harsh lesson, but it also strengthened their resolve. Trust was a precious commodity, and the resistance would move forward with renewed vigilance. As Sarah recovered from the ordeal, she knew the road ahead would be even more challenging. The Draken were relentless, but so was humanity. The fight for Earth's survival continued, with new allies and a deeper understanding of the stakes. The battle for the future was far from over. The Draken, angered by their recent setbacks, launched a massive offensive against New Atlantis, Earth's last major stronghold. Situated in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, New Atlantis was a beacon of hope and resilience, a symbol of humanity's defiance. Draken warships appeared on the horizon, casting long shadows over the fortified city. The skies buzzed with activity as Earth's defense forces scrambled to meet the threat. Admiral Drake stood on the command deck of the Dauntless Asterisk, surveying the impending battle. All units prepare for immediate engagement, Drake commanded. We cannot let New Atlantis fall. This is our line in the sand. On the ground, Sarah Connor and her resistance fighters fortified their positions. They had transformed the city into a fortress, with barricades, sniper nests, and hidden explosives. Hold the line, Sarah urged her fighters. We can't let them break through. The battle began with a thunderous roar. Draken warships unleashed a barrage of laser fire and plasma bombs targeting the city's defenses. Human forces retaliated with missiles, railguns, and anti-aircraft batteries. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning metal. Captain Maria Alvarez, now redeemed and determined to fight for humanity, led a squadron of fighter jets in daring maneuvers. Stay on my 6, she instructed her pilots. We hit them hard and fast. The skies became a chaotic dance of death as fighters clashed with Draken drones. Explosions lit up the night, and the sound of battle echoed across the ocean. Despite the initial onslaught, the human defenders held their ground. Dr. Emily Zhang, working tirelessly in an underground lab, had developed a new defense system that absorbed and redirected the energy of Draken weapons. It's working, she reported. Their attacks are losing effectiveness. The tide began to turn as human forces launched a counteroffensive. Special forces teams, including Sarah's resistance fighters, carried out sabotage missions behind enemy lines. They destroyed key Draken installations and supply depots, sowing confusion and chaos among the invaders. Sarah led a team through the wreckage-strewn streets, targeting a Draken command post. This is it, she said. We take out their command structure and we cripple their ability to coordinate. The team moved with precision, planting charges and setting traps. The command post erupted in flames, and Draken soldiers scattered in disarray. Fall back to the extraction point, Sarah ordered. As dawn broke, the Draken assault began to falter. The human defenders, battered but unbroken, pushed the invaders back. Admiral Drake watched as the remaining Draken ships retreated. We've done it, he said, a mixture of relief and exhaustion in his voice. New Atlantis stands. The siege had been costly, but it was a decisive victory. The Draken had underestimated humanity's resolve once again. As the defenders tended to their wounds and repaired the city's defenses, they knew the war was far from over. But for the first time, there was a sense that victory was possible. In the aftermath of the siege, a sense of urgency gripped the human leaders. Dr. Vrath, now a reluctant ally, had been working closely with Dr. Emily Jang and the scientific community. His knowledge of Draken technology and biology was invaluable. One evening, as they pored over data in the lab, Vrath made a startling discovery. "This can't be right," he muttered, adjusting the holoscreen. "If this is correct, it changes everything." Dr. Jang looked over his shoulder. "What did you find?" "The Draken have a critical vulnerability," Vrath explained. "Their power systems rely on a rare mineral called draconite, which is only found on their homeworld. If we can disrupt their supply or find a way to neutralize its effects, we can cripple their entire war effort." Admiral Drake was briefed on the findings. "This is the break we've been waiting for," he said. "But how do we act on it?" "We need to strike at the heart of their supply chain," Vrath suggested. "A surgical strike on their main mining operation could deal a devastating blow to their war capabilities." Sarah, always eager for action, stepped forward. "I'll lead the mission. We have the skills and the determination to get it done." Admiral Drake nodded. "Very well. This mission is critical. Failure is not an option." The plan was set in motion. A small elite team, including Sarah, Lily Chen, and a few of Vrath's trusted Draken allies, would infiltrate the Draken homeworld. They would locate the main draconite mining facility and destroy it, effectively cutting off the Draken's power supply. The journey to the Draken homeworld was perilous. The team traveled in a stealth ship, avoiding patrols and slipping through security nets. As they approached the planet, the tension was palpable. "We're here," Lily announced. "Stay sharp, everyone." The team landed in a remote area, far from the main population centers. They moved quickly, navigating through the harsh terrain toward the mining facility. The landscape was alien and unforgiving, but their resolve was unshakable. As they approached the facility, they encountered heavy security. "We need a distraction," Sarah whispered. "Lily, can you hack into their systems?" Lily nodded, her fingers flying over her portable device. "Give me a minute." The facility's alarms blared, and lights flickered as Lily's hack took effect. The team used the chaos to slip inside, planting explosives and sabotaging key equipment. Vrath provided critical intel, guiding them through the complex layout. "Charges set," Sarah reported. "Time to move." They retreated to a safe distance, and with a final push of a button, the mining facility erupted in a massive explosion. The ground shook, and the sky lit up with the fiery destruction of the draconite mines. "We did it," Lily said, a mixture of relief and triumph in her voice. The team made their way back to the extraction point, knowing they had struck a critical blow. As they left the Draken homeworld, the implications of their success began to sink in. The tide of the war had shifted, and humanity now had a real chance at victory. With the Draken power supply crippled, humanity prepared for a final, decisive assault on the Draken fleet. The intelligence gathered from Vrath and the success of the mining operation had given them a strategic advantage. Admiral Drake stood before the assembled forces of the United Earth Defense Coalition. "This is our moment," he declared. "The Draken are weakened, and now is the time to strike. We will take the fight to them and end this war once and for all." The battle plan was bold and daring. The human fleet would launch a coordinated assault on the Draken command ship, the Krathor*. Destroying the command ship would leave the Draken forces leaderless and disorganized, paving the way for a final push to drive them out of the solar system. Sarah Connor, now a celebrated hero, prepared her team for the mission. "We've come a long way," she said, looking at the faces of her comrades. "We've fought hard and sacrificed much. Today, we end this, for Earth and for everyone we've lost." The human fleet, now bolstered by the advanced technology developed by Dr. Jang and her team, moved into position. Stealth ships, fighter squadrons, and capital ships formed a formidable armada. The air was thick with anticipation and resolve. The battle began with a coordinated strike on the Krathor*. Human ships engaged the Draken fleet, drawing their fire and creating openings for the strike teams. Sarah's team, aboard a stealth ship, penetrated the command ship's defenses and boarded the Krathor*. Inside, they faced fierce resistance. Draken soldiers, desperate and determined, fought to protect their command center. Sarah led her team through the narrow corridors, their progress marked by intense firefights and close-quarters combat. "Push forward," Sarah shouted, taking down a Draken soldier with a precise shot. "We need to reach the bridge." They fought their way through, reaching the heart of the Krathor*. Commander Zal, their Draken ally, provided critical assistance, guiding them to the command center. "This way," he urged. "We're almost there." The final confrontation took place on the bridge. The Draken command crew, realizing the gravity of their situation, fought with desperation. Sarah and her team engaged in a brutal battle, every move calculated, every shot critical. With a final push, they overwhelmed the Draken defenders. Sarah approached the command console, planting charges that would ensure the destruction of the ship. "This is for Earth," she said, setting the timer. They made their way to the extraction point, fighting off the last remnants of resistance. The human fleet provided cover, ensuring their safe escape. As they cleared the Krathor*, the charges detonated, and the command ship erupted in a massive explosion. Cheers erupted across the human fleet. The destruction of the Krathor* sent shockwaves through the Draken forces. Disorganized and leaderless, the remaining Draken ships began to retreat. Admiral Drake's voice came over the comms. "We've done it. The Draken are retreating. Earth is safe." As the human fleet pursued the retreating Draken, ensuring they left the solar system, a sense of relief and triumph spread among the defenders. The war had been long and brutal, but humanity had prevailed. Sarah stood on the bridge of the dauntless *, looking out at the stars. "We did it," she said quietly, a tear of relief and joy in her eye. "We really did it." The final assault had been a resounding success. The Draken threat was over, and Earth could finally begin to rebuild and heal. The victory was a testament to humanity's resilience, courage, and unity. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it was filled with hope. The war had ended, but the scars it left behind were deep and numerous. Earth was free from the Draken threat, but the world had changed irrevocably. As humanity began the long process of rebuilding, the leaders of the United Earth Defense Coalition convened to chart a path forward. Admiral Drake stood before a gathered assembly of representatives from across the globe. The room was filled with faces marked by the hardships of war, yet glowing with the pride of hard-won victory. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have faced the greatest threat in our history and emerged victorious. Now it is time to rebuild, to heal, and to ensure that such a threat can never again jeopardize our world." The rebuilding efforts were monumental. Cities devastated by the Draken siege were slowly being restored. New Atlantis, the site of humanity's fiercest resistance, became a symbol of resilience and renewal. Its people worked tirelessly to transform it into a beacon of hope, a shining example of what humanity could achieve when united. Sarah Connor, now hailed as a hero, found herself struggling with the transition from war to peace. Her days were filled with speeches, ceremonies, and meetings, yet her mind often drifted back to the battlefield. She knew that her skills and experience were needed in this new era of rebuilding, but the weight of her memories was a constant companion. One afternoon, as she stood on a balcony overlooking the rebuilt New Atlantis, Admiral Drake joined her. "Penny for your thoughts, Lieutenant," he said, his tone gentle. Sarah smiled faintly. "Just thinking about everything we've been through. It's hard to believe it's finally over." Drake nodded. "It is. But we must ensure that the sacrifices made were not in vain. The world needs leaders like you to guide us into the future." "I'll do my best, Admiral," Sarah replied. "But sometimes I wonder if I'll ever truly leave the war behind." "You won't," Drake said softly. "None of us will. But we can take what we've learned, the strength we've gained, and use it to build a better world." As the days turned into weeks, the efforts to forge a lasting peace took shape. The United Earth Defense Coalition evolved into a permanent body, dedicated to the protection and advancement of humanity. New technologies developed during the war were repurposed for civilian use, leading to advancements in medicine, energy, and infrastructure. Dr. Emily Jang continued her groundbreaking work, collaborating with Drakin scientist Vrath to integrate their knowledge and create a more sustainable future. The Drakin have much to teach us, Vrath said during a symposium, and we have much to learn. Together we can achieve incredible things. Commander Zal and his followers were granted asylum and began working closely with human scientists and engineers. Their insights into Drakin technology proved invaluable, and a new era of cooperation and understanding began to blossom. One evening, Sarah received an unexpected visitor. Lily Chen, her trusted friend and comrade, stood at her doorstep. "I thought you could use some company," Lily said with a warm smile. Sarah welcomed her in, and they sat together, reminiscing about their journey. "We've come a long way," Lily said. "Remember our escape from the Drakin lab? It feels like a lifetime ago." "It does," Sarah agreed. "But we made it, and now we have a chance to build something truly remarkable." Lily nodded. "To new beginnings." As the months passed, the wounds of war slowly began to heal. Monuments were erected to honor those who had fallen, and memorials were held to remember their sacrifices. Schools, hospitals, and homes rose from the rubble, symbols of a world determined to move forward. Sarah found her place in this new world, dedicating herself to helping veterans and those affected by the war. She established programs to support their transition to civilian life, ensuring that no one was left behind. Admiral Drake, now retired from active duty, continued to serve as an advisor, guiding the next generation of leaders. "The future is in good hands," he often said, a sense of pride in his voice. One day, as Sarah walked through a park in New Atlantis, she saw children playing, their laughter filling the air. It was a sight that brought tears to her eyes. This was what they had fought for, a future where children could grow up in peace, free from the shadow of war. As she stood there, a young girl ran up to her, holding a small flower. "For you," the girl said shyly. Sarah took the flower, her heart swelling with emotion. "Thank you," she said, kneeling to the girl's level. "What's your name?" "Hope," the girl replied with a bright smile. Sarah smiled back, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "That's a beautiful name. Always remember, Hope, that you can achieve anything you set your mind to." As she watched the girl run back to her friends, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. The war had taught her the true value of resilience, courage, and unity. And now, in this time of peace, she was determined to help build a world where those values could flourish. The victory over the Drakin had not just saved Earth, it had united humanity in a way that had never been seen before. The future was uncertain, but it was also filled with endless possibilities. And for the first time in a long while, Sarah felt truly hopeful. The story of humanity's struggle and triumph would be remembered for generations, a testament to what could be achieved when people came together for a common cause. As the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the rebuilt city, Sarah knew that the real work had only just begun, but with hope and determination, anything was possible. The victory was theirs, and the future was bright.